Hey everybody, Jared Jones. Today we're going to talk about how you can make your custom dream home a reality. Literally from picking out the lot to a finished home with zero utilities, with an in-ground pool, all the trimmings, and a 30-year historic low mortgage. Stay with me, we're going to get started right now. Oh man, you want it all, right? You don't want a house anybody slept in, you want it brand new. From the floor to the ceiling. You don't want to live in a neighborhood that's got a neighbor right on top of you. You want this Florida open space where those alligators come running up on your property with shotguns. That's what we live here for, right? Just kind of kidding about that.
Okay.
But the reality is you can have a nice lot space, good amount of room, creative living standard where you can actually build the house the way you want, have room for in-laws, have space for the toys, have room for livestock, animals, whatever you're into. A BMX bike trail, I don't care. You can do it. And you can actually build it from pick out the lot, pick out the builder, get the whole thing done. And I'm going to share with you step by step how you can take these pieces, put them all together, and get to the home of your dreams without settling along the way. Number one, what do you want in the lot? Think about it. Is recreation important? Are you going to have a massive backyard, playground set, pool? Are you going to have a second in-law suite, a casita that's separate for generational living setup? Or maybe you need room for the wildebeest. Some of you, it's about the front yard. I know for me, when I have a custom image in mind, I have a circular driveway or a drive-up portico or a 𝐊𝐴ₛ, drive right through to the other side.
Man, what are we talking about? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man.
Let's get the right piece of property first. Now in Florida, you have to be careful. Not all land is equal. You can find different varieties of properties that have different restrictions on them, including flood zones. Flood zone is a concern in and throughout the state. Now, the common types of flood areas are 100 and 500 year floodplain. So it's not the end of the world if you have part of the lot that is in a floodplain, but it is definitely more expensive if the dwelling itself will be sitting on land that is not what's called an X flood zone type or a high and dry piece of property. And other areas you might find a great piece of property only to find that the land is protected or that there's areas on the land that's considered what's called wetlands. And wetlands sounds like it might be swampy. It's not. There's many types of properties I've sold over the years that were listed in wetlands and I didn't see anything wet on it. Owners telling me I've never seen water in these particular areas, but they could be protected little camouflage looking dots that you'll find on a map of the survey that will have guidance required by local authority on how you can treat those areas. There are protected swamp areas, for instance, in Polk County, and the land is legit high and dry again, but there's no dwelling that can be put on those lots unless it meets guidelines. And oftentimes you need many acres in a swamp protected area for you to be able to acquire to go ahead and have a residence on it. But high and dry land that is reasonably commutable to Orlando, meaning a piece of property that is a 30 to 50 minute travel time or less, you're bargaining anywhere from $35,000 on the low side, $85,000, $90,000 on the high side for one flat buildable acre. Now, the hot areas of town like Winter Garden, Winter Park, even around Lake Nona, you will be beyond $85,000 for a flat buildable acre, and in many cases, multiples higher than that. So an area that has land for $60,000 to $70,000 an acre is usually an area where you can build with confidence, knowing that the land value bracket of the homes that exist there are going to be into the upper resale ranges. There's a lot of great communities in Central Florida where when you go to all the trouble of making this great home, you want a dogfight when it comes time to sell it. You want to be in a place where someone can actually see themselves living in a home as great as the one you're going to build, because that is going to be part of your exit strategy. A lot of the areas where the acre is going for that much, phenomenal resale rates, great homes around it. They're going to be desirable places where someone else would want to live behind you when it's time for you to sell it. And that's going to be important for you because this is Casa de You we are building here. You are going to make it the way you want and you want to resell it for top dollar. But how do we get the land? You might say that is your first obstacle because everybody that wants to do this usually owns a home somewhere and all of their equity is tied up in their current home. And I get you. Here are the ways to do it. Number one, you can get loans for land, okay? There are options available. Usually they're not smaller tickets. You usually cannot get a loan for land under $50,000 for the land itself, and you will need a down payment. So number two, you could take a HELOC out or home equity line of credit on your current residence. So you own a home, you know you're gonna have to sell it to buy this new custom home that you're gonna build, but you're not ready yet. You can go and acquire land by taking a home equity line, writing a check out on the new property from the equity of your current home. The funding fees on those are very low. You can come back and pay that thing off once you sell that house later. Now, obviously number three, sell your current home and move. Now, this isn't the most appealing process, but keep in mind at some point you are going to have to sell your house, particularly if you have a finite amount of access to available cash. So you will need some working capital in order to get a loan to purchase a house. So if you do a loan to build a house, which we're going to talk about next, there's different down payment requirements which you will need to fund that and get the construction process started. Most folks need to sell their house first to get into the game. So that's a summary overview. I will tell you this, before you get started in even contemplating what type of home you're going to build, you need to have a very good detailed discussion about what you want in your next home. You need to have a piece of property that's going to work perfectly for your use. Many different zoning types are going to have restrictions. Many different pieces of property that look great will have massively high insurance costs because of the suitability of the particular piece of property. Before you start this process as well, you need to overlay the actual area and make sure that when you're moving into these different areas of Central Florida, will the location be suitable for your lifestyle goals? Is the amenities available for this particular property if you decide to live there? If you've got a commute, is it going to be manageable? If you're going to resell it, is the demographic in the area and the house you're going to build going to go against all the other properties that are there? Don't get into this process without having a lengthy discussion. I'd be more than happy to kick this process off with you, get you set up on the process of getting the research set up to get you the right piece of property so you don't make the same mistakes that so many people make getting in the wrong piece of property to start with, end up having to resell it in a slow land market. So with that being said, give me your comments below. What is your ideal type of custom home to build? If you could have it the way you want, what would it look like? Let's continue the conversation online. Please subscribe to the channel, click the bell icon to make sure you're getting updates as we release new videos, and we'll talk to you real soon. Buying or selling a home in Central Florida is expensive. The Jones Group leverages the latest technology and passes the savings on to you. List your home for just 1%. Buying a home, get $7,000 cash rebate before close. Make one call, that's all. Better service, lower fees.